This is a story called The Little Monsters of Christmas, Chapter 129. Kicker insists on going shopping for Christmas decorations. All the kids are at school, and at lunchtime Kicker says, "Guys, I want to go shopping for some Christmas decorations. Are you coming too?" "Kicker, in case you've forgotten, we're at school and we have English and maths after lunch," said Grumpy. Before anyone else could say anything, Mrs. Scott said, "I hope you kids aren't planning on playing truant, because you know that if you do, you'll all be in big trouble, all of you." "I didn't mean now, miss. I meant after school. Besides, we've got English this afternoon, and it's one of my favourite subjects, and I'll never miss it," said Kicker. "OK, I believe you. Thousands wouldn't," said Mrs. Scott. They all laughed, and then Mrs. Scott said, "Guys, you have 45 minutes left before the end of lunch, so why don't you go over to the shopping centre and do a bit of shopping? Just make sure you're back in time for your next lesson." "OK, thanks, miss," said Kicker. The gang went over to the shopping centre and Kicker bought loads of decorations, and so did the rest of the gang. They took everything back to school with them and put it in their lockers. Then they went to their English class. After school, they all picked up the little kids, went home, dropped their stuff off, had their tea and went into town. When they got there, they spotted the Tremblers gang. They spoke for a while and they all went their separate ways. The gang went in just about every shop going and bought Christmas decorations. They didn't buy too much because they didn't want to buy everything at once. The next day they had a free period and they didn't have to go into school until 10:30 a.m, so they went into town first. The first shop they went into was full of Christmas stuff. As you can imagine, Kicker was in her element. They walked around the shop, and as they were doing so, they noticed that everything was quite cheap. They all bought loads of stuff, especially Kicker. However, when it came to leaving the shop, the gang literally had to drag Kicker out, kicking and screaming, much to the amusement of the staff and customers. As soon as they let her go, she ran back in and they had to drag her back out, kicking and screaming again. Of course, everyone thought this was hilarious. They managed to get Kicker out of the shop and to the bus stop. They dropped everything off at home and then walked to school. After school, they planned to go back into town. However, it started raining really heavily, so they all stayed at Kicker's and then went home. The next day was an insect day for the whole school, so all the kids, big and little, went into town to shop for Christmas decorations. When they got there, Kicker disappeared and Kane said, "Where's Kicker gone?" "She'll be in the range because it's full of Christmas stuff," said Ellie. They all went in the range, and guess who they found amongst all the Christmas stuff? Yes, that's right, Kicker. Of course, she couldn't resist buying loads more decorations. Again, when it came to leaving, the gang had to literally drag her out, kicking and screaming, much to the amusement of everyone else. The little kids were absolutely hysterical. As they were walking round town, Ellie spotted a shop that said sold nothing but Christmas stuff, and she said to Creeper, "Oh no, Creeper, look." "What am I looking at, Ellie?" asked Creeper. "Look to your right, there's a shop full of Christmas stuff," answered Ellie. Kicker spotted the shop, and before anyone could stop her, she went in. All the kids looked at each other, and all together they said, "Oh, now we'll never get her out." They all laughed, and then they all followed Kicker into the shop. When they got in there, they couldn't believe how magical the place was. Kika was totally in her element. They all bought loads of decorations, and when it came time to leave, they couldn't find Kika anywhere. Excuse me. Then a girl called Brianna came over and said, "If you're looking for Kika, she's over there looking at the fake mini Christmas trees." "Okay, thanks, Brianna," said Stumpy. "You're welcome, Stumpy," said Brianna. They went and found Kika, and then they paid for their stuff and then left to get their bus home. The next day was Saturday, and when the gang and the Little Monkeys gang met up, Stumpy said, "Dare I ask what we're doing today?" "I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going into town to buy some more Christmas decorations," said Kika. "Did you really need to ask that question, Stumpy?" asked Grumpy. Yeah, because I need to know. I guess I should have known not to ask because it is Kika we're talking about," answered Stumpy. They all laughed, and then they all went for the bus into town. When they got there, Kika insisted on going back to the Christmas shop, much to everyone's amusement. When they left that shop, they went in a few more shops, and then they went home. The next day was Sunday, and it was raining really heavily again, so the big kids all went to Kika's house, and the little kids were all taken to Joshua's house. The next day at lunchtime, the big kids went over to the shopping centre. Once again, much to everyone's amusement, they had to drag Kika out of the range, literally kicking and screaming. After that, Kika decided that she had enough Christmas decorations and that she didn't need any more, much to everyone's relief. End of chapter 129. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to like, share, comment and to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Merry early Christmas. Love yous. Bye.